Okay, what if you could create a high-quality, fully edited video in the time it takes you to drink your morning coffee? Seriously, that's not a hypothetical anymore. That is the power of AI, and we're about to break down exactly how this tech is completely rewriting the rules for the entire creator economy. Right. Let's just dive straight into this quote, because it absolutely hits the nail on the head. The ground is literally shifting under our feet. We are moving from a world of painstaking, manual work to one where amazing content can be created at the speed of an idea. The old rules, they just don't apply anymore. And this really puts the sheer scale of this change into perspective. Look, we're not talking about some small incremental improvement here. This is a quantum leap in productivity. What used to take up a whole day's work can now, seriously, be done in just a few minutes. It's wild. So to really get a grip on this revolution, we're going to look at it from 5 different angles. We'll start with how AI is making creators way more efficient. Then we'll get into the really cool stuff, how it's starting to take over the entire production process. We'll also have to talk about the dark side of automation, and then wrap up with what really matters, the future of the human-AI partnership. So this brings us to the big question, right? What is AI's actual role in this new economy? Is it just another fancy tool? Is it a genuine partner? Or is it here to put human creativity out of a job? Well, the answer, it's complicated. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack. All right, so the first and most common way creators are using AI is as a kind of superpowered assistant. And let's be clear, this isn't about replacing your creativity, it's about freeing it up. By automating all those tedious, time-sucking tasks, AI lets you focus on what you actually do best, coming up with those big ideas and building a winning strategy. And a system like this basically takes all the guesswork out of your content strategy. You can use tools like Perplexity Comet to find what's already crushing it in your niche. Then, and this is the cool part, you use a language model like Claude to analyze it. You can literally feed it a video transcript and say, hey, tell me why this worked. It will break down the exact hooks, the emotional triggers, the storytelling beats that made it go viral. Okay, now this is where things get really, really interesting. We're moving beyond AI as just a helpful assistant to AI as a full-on production engine. I mean, imagine going from just a simple idea to a finished, polished, ready-to-publish video with just a few clicks. And this isn't science fiction anymore. This is happening right now. Tools like Opus Agent or Google's VO 3.1 are already here, and they can handle pretty much every single step of the video production process you see here. Think about that. This means a single person can now do the work that used to require an entire production team. But of course, with all this incredible power, there are risks. And that brings us to what's called the automation paradox. See, the dream is this perfect set-it-and-forget-it system that just churns out content and leads on autopilot. But the reality? Well, the reality is that too much automation can actually be a very, very bad thing. This timeline right here is a perfect cautionary tale of what happens when you go all in on full automation. This is a real experience. At first, it feels like you found a cheat code, right? But pretty soon, platforms like X and LinkedIn, they notice the inhuman, bot-like patterns. And before you know it, you could end up losing your entire account and all that hard work just gone. So what's the solution then? Well, the answer seems to be semi-automation. This is where you combine the power of AI with a real human touch. So instead of just blasting out hundreds of cold, robotic messages, you use AI to help you find the right people and maybe draft some ideas, but then a real person, you, steps in to engage in a genuine human way. And hey, the numbers do not lie. Taking a couple of days to build a real, genuine connection before you send a pitch can lead to a 5 times higher open rate. And why is that? It's simple. People can tell the difference between a real person reaching out and a spam bot. That human touch is still your most powerful tool. And all of this really brings us to the most important takeaway of this entire conversation. The future of content creation is not about humans versus machines. It's about humans and machines working together in partnership. The goal here should be to use AI to amplify your own unique voice, not to replace it with some generic computer-generated one. You know, this chart highlights a huge challenge we're facing. A recent HubSpot report found that while 3/4 of business leaders think AI is absolutely critical for their success, only 19% of consumers are actually excited about it. In fact, over 80% of people still prefer to interact with a human. That is a massive trust gap that we need to figure out how to close. This quote just perfectly nails how we should be thinking about AI. It's not a threat, it's a tool that helps us do our jobs better, faster, and at a higher level. By automating all the tedious stuff, AI frees us up to focus on the things that actually matter: our creativity, our strategy, and building real, authentic connections with our audience. So, what's the bottom line here? The AI revolution is here. It's not coming, it's here, and it's not going away. The real question isn't if you're going to have to adapt, it's how. The key is finding that perfect balance between smart automation and that irreplaceable human touch. Use AI to work smarter, not just harder. Use it to amplify your unique voice, not to replace it. Because the future of content creation, well, that's still in your hands.